Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving deep into a crucial topic: the top 10 most fragile countries in Africa. While Africa is a continent of immense beauty, cultural diversity, and significant potential, some countries face overwhelming challenges that impact their stability and development. We'll explore the factors contributing to their fragility, the struggles they face, and what this means for their future. Let's get started. Before we jump into the list, let's understand what the Fragile States Index, FSI, is. The FSI is compiled by the Fund for Peace, a global organization dedicated to preventing conflict and promoting sustainable security. The index measures the vulnerability of states based on various indicators like security apparatus, the presence of armed conflict, and the government's ability to maintain order. Factionalized elites, the influence of elite groups on political and economic decision-making. Economic decline, the rate of economic development and the presence of economic inequality. Human flight and brain drain, the migration of educated and skilled individuals out of the country. State legitimacy, the level of corruption and the public's trust in government institutions. Human rights and rule of law, the protection of human rights and the enforcement of laws. Demographic pressures, population pressures such as disease, hunger, and environmental hazards. Refugees and IDPs, the presence of refugees and internally displaced persons. External intervention, the extent of foreign involvement in a country's affairs. These indicators help us understand the complex dynamics that make a country fragile. Now let's explore the top 10 most fragile countries in Africa. Somalia tops the list with an index score of 111.9. Decades of civil war, the presence of extremist groups like Al-Shabaab, and weak governmental structures have left Somalia in a constant state of crisis. Despite international efforts, the lack of a stable government and ongoing violence continue to plague the nation. The country's coastline, one of the longest in Africa, has been both a strategic asset and a source of piracy and illegal fishing issues. Somalia's future hinges on successful stabilization efforts, effective governance, and international support. South Sudan, the world's newest nation, gained independence in 2011, but has faced continuous internal conflicts since then. Power struggles among factions, widespread poverty, and a severe humanitarian crisis contributes to its high fragility score of 108.5. The peace agreements remain fragile, and violence often resurges. The country's oil resources, which could be a source of wealth, have instead fueled conflict. Reconciliation efforts and the establishment of a stable government are critical for South Sudan's progress. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is rich in natural resources, but has been plagued by conflict for decades. Armed groups, political instability, and widespread poverty are significant issues contributing to its fragility score of 107.2. The government struggles to control vast regions of the country, leading to ongoing violence and human rights abuses. The exploitation of minerals like coltan and cobalt has drawn international interest but also fueled corruption and conflict. Addressing these systemic issues is vital for the DRC's stability and development. Sudan has faced long-term conflicts, most notably in Darfur and South Kordofan. Recent political changes, including the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir, have led to instability. Economic challenges and internal power struggles continue to affect the country's stability, reflected in its index score of 106.2. The transitional government has made some progress, but achieving lasting peace and economic reform remains challenging. International aid and investment are crucial for Sudan's recovery. The Central African Republic, CAR, is marred by continuous armed conflicts and political instability. The struggle for control between various armed groups has led to widespread displacement and humanitarian crises, contributing to its fragility score of 15.7. Efforts to establish peace have been challenging, with violence frequently erupting. The country's rich natural resources, including diamonds and timber, have often been exploited by armed groups. Strengthening governance and implementing effective peace agreements are essential steps toward stability. Chad faces internal conflicts, economic challenges, and regional instability, resulting in a fragility score of 104.6. The government struggles with insurgencies and the spillover effects of conflicts in neighboring countries. Poverty and underdevelopment are also significant issues. Chad's strategic location and involvement in regional counterterrorism efforts add to its complexity. Enhancing economic opportunities and addressing governance issues are vital for Chad's long-term stability. Ethiopia's fragility has increased due to ethnic tensions, particularly the conflict in the Tigray region. political instability, and challenges in governance have also contributed to its high fragility score of 100.4. The situation remains tense, with significant humanitarian impacts. Ethiopia's role as a regional power and its ambitious economic plans have been disrupted by internal conflicts. Resolving ethnic tensions and ensuring inclusive governance are key to Ethiopia's future. Mali faces severe security challenges, particularly from Islamist militant groups in the northern and central regions. Political instability, including coups and protests, further complicates efforts to restore stability, reflected in its fragility score of 99.5. The ongoing conflict has displaced many people and strained resources. International military assistance and local reconciliation efforts are critical for Mali's stability. Guinea has experienced political turmoil and ethnic tensions, especially around election periods. Economic challenges and governance issues add to the fragility, resulting in an index score of 98.5. Protests and unrest are common, impacting the country's development. Guinea's mineral wealth, including bauxite, has the potential for economic growth but requires stable governance and investment. Addressing political grievances and ensuring fair elections are essential for Guinea's progress. Nigeria, despite being Africa's largest economy, faces numerous challenges including insurgency from Boko Haram in the northeast, ethnic conflicts and corruption contributing to its fragility score of 98.0. These issues undermine the country's stability and development efforts. The government continues to struggle with security and economic reforms. Nigeria's young and growing population presents both opportunities and challenges. Tackling corruption and investing in infrastructure and education are critical for Nigeria's future stability and growth. These rankings highlight the significant challenges faced by the most fragile countries in Africa. Each country's situation is complex, influenced by a mix of historical, political, economic, and social factors. While these nations strive to overcome their difficulties, the international community must support their efforts towards peace, stability, and sustainable development. Understanding the complexities and vulnerabilities of these countries is the first step towards addressing the root causes of their fragility and fostering a more stable and prosperous Africa. For instance, Somalia's future depends not only on internal stabilization, but also on international maritime security efforts. South Sudan needs robust peacekeeping and reconciliation mechanisms to move beyond its fractious beginnings. The DRC's path to stability lies in managing its vast natural resources responsibly and ensuring they benefit the population rather than fueling conflict. Sudan's transitional government must navigate a delicate balance between reform and maintaining stability. The CAR requires a comprehensive approach that includes disarmament, reintegration of combatants, and sustainable economic development. Chad's involvement in regional security must be complemented by domestic economic and social reforms. Ethiopia's ethnic diversity needs to be embraced through inclusive governance that respects all groups. Mali's security situation requires both military solutions and grassroots peacebuilding initiatives. Guinea's political stability can be bolstered by transparent and fair electoral processes. Nigeria's multifaceted challenges need a holistic approach that addresses security, corruption, and economic diversification. While the challenges are immense, the resilience and potential of these countries should not be underestimated. Local leaders, civil society, and the international community all have roles to play in supporting these nations towards a more stable and prosperous future. In conclusion, the fragility of these countries is not a permanent state, but a condition that can be addressed through concerted efforts at multiple levels. By understanding and addressing the root causes of fragility, we can help these nations transition towards greater stability and prosperity. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on African countries and global issues. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.